It's hard to believe it's been a full year since we started this journey aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey cruise ship. You've all been with us from the beginning, but it's all gone by so fast.
It really has. So today what we want to do is kind of consolidate and share with you the things that really stood out for us over this last entire year. And we're also going to share with you some of our journey through Japan.
All right, let's get into it. First, we're going to start by sharing some of the highs from our journey, the things that really made us stop and say, yeah, this is why we're doing this. First up, the first sight of the Odyssey in St. Lucia. Remember that time when we're in the tender and we're coming up to the ship and we're seeing it up close for the first time? That was special.
It was really special. Of course, we had been on the ship once before while it was in dry dock, but coming onto the ship, knowing that we were here to stay a long time and seeing it from the water in St. Lucia was really, really special. The ship looked great, I thought.
It did. We had only seen it in pictures and video up to that point, but to see it for real was very special, and it didn't disappoint us. It looked great in the bay in St. Lucia.
It did. And it had been months since we had made the decision to come on board, I think in June, and then we got on in November. So this was a long time coming, and it was a really, really special day.
Yeah. Next up, moving into cabin 7009.
Yeah.
So when we first saw the ship, we were in a smaller cabin at that point. But then a little bit later, we started looking to upgrade, and that's when we saw 7009 for the first time.
And it was something else. I remember us looking at each other. We were in an ocean view room, and it was cool, but we knew we wanted more. And the first time we came in that room, it was like, oh, we were like, wow, this is nice. And of course, it was the space, it was the finishes, it was especially the balcony, and it really has been and has become our home, and we're so comfortable in 7009. So it really was a special day when we first got in here for the first time and decided that we were going to do it, and then moving in was really the top of it.
Yeah, we had seen several other cabins that were bigger and some that were smaller, but there was just something special about this one that we absolutely loved.
It really was.
Okay.
And we still love it.
Next up was, we're on this journey mainly for the experiences, to see the world. And one of the very first experiences we had was when we saw Peru, when we landed in that port and we explored Peru for the first time.
Yeah, Peru had been on our list forever. We've been to South America, but never Peru. And so actually having the Villa Vie facilitate us getting to Peru, getting off the ship for a little while and having that experience and then getting back on was such a cool experience. And it really just exemplified what we thought this life could be. And on that trip, it surely was.
Yeah, because it was a smaller port. Most cruise ships don't go to that particular port. Yeah. And then to be able to have the time to go and explore and do excursions was really
awesome.
Special.
It really was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next was another experience that was particularly special, and that was traversing the Panama Canal. Yeah. Now, we had done that before. We'd been through the Panama Canal before, but for some reason, this one was very special.
It was totally different, and we had kind of done the Panama Canal and said, well, that was okay. But doing it on the ship, the way we did it, it lined up that we were, of course, seeing so much of it from our balcony. We came at a great time, and we were actually seeing the operation very differently than I don't even remember all the ropes and pulleys and all that stuff last time. So it was super cool to see it and appreciate it on the Odyssey.
Yeah, I think it was mainly for me because we were sharing it with other people we really knew, other adventurers on the ship who had become friends of ours. And everybody knew a little piece of the history of the canal, and it was just really special to share that with each other.
It was, and I will just add, and those friends were not too many. The time we were on it before, there was thousands and thousands of people. Here, there wasn't that many people. We were friendly, and of course, it's our community, and having that space to kind of do it without the crowds and kind of fighting for a view was awesome.
Another kind of experience, this was discovering so many hidden gem ports. The thing about this particular ship, it doesn't go to the same, St. Thomas's and different ports that every cruise ship goes to. This goes to some really small ports that most cruise ships would never attempt to go to. For example, La Romana, Dominican Republic.
Oh, we had such a great time there. We had been to the Dominican Republic before, but we really got off the ship and with our friends did a tour and went and had lunch with this family. And remember playing cards with a little girl?
Yeah.
It was such a cool experience. So yeah, we would have probably never done that for all the reasons he just said. And it really, again, exemplified what we've done many times since and is a real special thing about traveling on this ship.
Let's get back to things that are special about the ship. And that one of which is the convenience of having an onboard gym, a really nice gym just down the hall there.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And no excuses, right? We have no excuse. It's literally down the hall of the same floor. And it has become our gym. It's a really large and nice facility for a ship this size.
Yeah, it has everything we need.
It really does. And so we really do enjoy it and we use it. And it's become part of our routine, which we love. At home, as you've seen, we only have a treadmill and a few weights and a Peloton. So having full access really has been great.
Yeah, it has full weights, it has machines, it has bikes, it has just so much.
Everything.
So there's no excuse, and we're using it pretty much every day, which is fantastic.
And you can go up, down one level and get breakfast either before or after.
That's
which
true.
Is great.
You got to fuel up. Next on the ship has been the amazing internet at sea. Having a ship with Starlink just changes the game. I don't think the ship would be possible without being able to have such great internet, both for the people who still work and are nomads at sea, but even for the rest of us who need access to the internet.
It's been great. Now, we've had a great experience. Every once in a while, something happens, but we've been pleased. We've been on a lot of cruises, and a lot of internet has not been great. This has been good. We have a little issue sometimes when a country won't let us, use Starlink.
Yeah,
because
that was
of regulations.
interesting.
That was weird.
I never knew that there's some countries that don't allow Starlink. And so in those ports, initially we had no internet, but now the ship has gotten like these new cellular cards and other things.
Yeah, something like that. So, but it's been really nice. Most of the time, we take for granted almost internet like we have at home. And that's a real blessing on a ship all over the world.
Another thing that's been pretty special for us is having delivery days. That's been kind of a highlight over the year. Many of you ask us, how do we get things delivered to the ship? Long story short is that the ship has our things delivered by freight, and then we have an unboxing all at one time.
And it's really nice because it's not like at home where you get it, same or next day. So we wait months sometimes for these deliveries because, of course, they're coming from the U.S. to wherever we are. We fuel up again on whatever we need. And getting all that stuff, of course, it all comes at once in one container is a lot of fun. And we love sharing that with you. I get the best comments online about how much people love our unboxing. So thank you for that.
We're so glad that you enjoy it.
We really do.
Another thing that has been special is on the ship, we're able to have effortless dinners together. So every night we go to the main dining room and there's this particular table we enjoy, and there are some staff that always take really good care of us. And we don't have to cook and we don't have to clean, and we just enjoy time together.
We love it. It's become part of our routine again, which, for us. And to his point, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to shop. You don't have to do all the cooking and cleaning and that kind of stuff. And we do different stuff during the day sometimes. So coming together at night really is special. It's like going out to a restaurant, which I guess it technically is, almost every night. And we really enjoy it. And so we're there a couple of hours most nights.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So, that's a good one.
You don't have to clean up after.
I don't have to clean up. You don't have to cook.
And I don't have to cook.
And he can eat fish, and I can eat whatever I want because I don't eat fish. And we can have what we want as well. Plus, they serve wine, and that's nice.
All right. Another high has been mastering what we call springboarding travel. So we go to a lot of different ports, right? But there's so much more beyond the ports. So we are able to take advantage of what we call like a hub and spoke approach, where the hub is the port, but then we springboard into the countries and go off on adventures.
And we've had some great ones. And this is one that we had talked about, but it really came to life in the last year. Getting off the ship and taking a flight or taking a long bus or train or whatever it is takes you to a totally different world, way beyond the port. You wouldn't get there on a typical cruise, but we have the time and we have the location much of the time to do that. It's been amazing.
Yeah. And then the last really big high for us is a very special one. It's been connecting with people on board. We have connected with not a lot of people, but a few very important people to us. And they're become our fellow travelers. And to share this with other people in the community has been awesome.
Yeah, we have a great community here. And, we curate deep friendships, I would say that way. We enjoy everybody. We really curate these friendships. And in the last year, we've built a lot of good ones. We've had a lot of great time together, and they're great traveling buddies and dinner companions and just friends. And we rely on them, and we appreciate them.
Yeah. There's been so many amazing highs during this year. There's probably more than the ones we've listed here, but these were the particular highs.
That's right. Good ones.
Okay, there have been a lot of highs, but there have also been a few lows as well. After all, it's not all perfect sunsets and smooth seas. Things go wrong. There are a few lows. It's a part of this life and probably life in general. So let's cover a few of them. First up, realizing that we needed more space. So remember when we first moved onto the ship, we were in a smaller cabin. And for us, at first, it seemed like it was great for us, but then over time, it felt like, no, it's too small.
We couldn't do it. Yeah. It was a nice room, and a lot of folks do great with it. It's just who we are. And we were in there a couple of weeks, and we were really trying to make the most of it and, realizing that we had some adjustments. But a few weeks in, we were like, hey, man, this is really not the way we want to live, especially with some of the work we do and the projects and the hobbies and that kind of stuff. So we had to square it up, I think, over one of those dinners and say, you know what, we've got to look at alternatives. And it was pretty early on. So our original goal was to just try it out. We made a pretty quick move, and I'm glad we did, to the larger cabin.
Yeah, for us, between the work that we do on the website and the YouTube channel and my gaming and just so many hobbies,
just living,
it was too small for us. But it led us to the larger cabin that we're in now, and we're loving it.
And I would change nothing about what happened.
Yeah,
I'm glad we did it.
It opened up a door, right?
Yeah.
Or at least a window. Next up, this was a scary one. Michael's food poisoning in Santiago, Chile.
Yes.
So one of our springboards was to go to Santiago, but Michael got really sick there.
Listen, I got about top 3 or 4 sick in my life sick. So I was sick for days and days. And, we still don't know what it was. We presume it was food poisoning because we were really being careful about water. But yeah, that was definitely a low. I think I lost about 12 pounds in 3 days. And it clearly put a little damper on our plans for Santiago. But you were great. We had good help. We learned some lessons from that.
Yes, we learned some great lessons about having health care, but also in addition to having travel health care, is having really good access to like your passwords for your healthcare account and knowing who to call and all of those details.
Yeah, it's a lesson I wish I didn't have to learn that way, but we did learn some good lessons, and thankfully I recovered. It took weeks though. It took weeks for me to really get back to myself. But yeah, that's a low. That's a low for the last year and maybe even beyond that for me. I was sick.
Go back to that video. You could see how lowly he was.
You were great though.
Oh.
I have to say, you were great. He was great.
I tried. Well, you're always great for me, so.
But you say I'm a bad patient sometimes.
Oh, he is. He's cranky. He's difficult.
Yeah, I am. But I would think I was so sick, I couldn't even be cranky this time. I was just that
That's
sick.
true.
But you were great. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. All right, next up was our time in Brazil. Okay, this is a tough one. So we love the people of Brazil. We love the culture. But going through all of the ports in Brazil was just so tough for us.
It was tough for us. It was a lot. It was a lot, and it kind of felt some ways repetitive. And while we were there, several folks, including us one time, got targeted for kind of petty crimes, theft, and people lost their iPhones, and people were grabbing purses from their bikes and all this stuff. So it was a little repetitive. And it was a little unsettling.
And you never felt like you could truly relax when you were out walking because you felt like you were being targeted. Yeah. Sometimes it was in your head, but sometimes it was real, and that's tough.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
And I do think in Brazil's defense, a lot of times we had just kind of had that incident happen. Then you're scared, a little
Yeah.
paranoid. So, but we didn't love it. We were ready to move on after all our time there. But we love you, Brazil.
Yes, and Brazil, the carnival,
Oh my God,
rocked. It was the greatest party of our life, and we will remember it forever.
That would be a top in our lives, Rio Carnival. We loved it. Yeah, we did. So
Very
we love
nice.
you, Brazil.
All right, next stop. Ship maintenance and outage realities.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ship is constantly moving. Unlike other ships where it goes back to its home port and it has all its maintenance and everything, here it's constantly on the move. And if something unexpected breaks, then you got to source it and it has to be flown in. So between the maintenance and sometimes outages, for example,
The pools.
the pools.
Yeah, the pools. So, this is part of the journey. We talk about the startup. We talk about the challenges. It's not always easy. We try to roll with it. We talk about that. But yeah, it's a combination of getting the ship going, even after we launched a year ago, with things like the pool that were delayed, or outages because they're repiping, or because a pipe burst, or because of whatever it is. So, clearly there's maintenance on any ship and vessel, and ours is more difficult. But also we've had outages and things that have been real, and we don't shy away from that, as you know. So sometimes those are easier to manage than others.
Yeah, like when the water goes off for a few hours, and you didn't take your shower yet.
Or you're 5 minutes into your shower and you have all this soap on your body, and then it goes out for 30 minutes. I mean, I wasn't happy that day. It's one of the things that happens. It's kind of what we roll with. But definitely absolutely not one of the highs that time, but it's okay.
Yeah. And a lot of times it means progress is happening. Something is being changed. There's new piping coming in or something. You gotta look at the bright side.
Or one burst and you're getting a new one. I mean, whatever it is, you got to roll with it.
All right. Next up is, so we're starting our traversing through Asia, and it has been overwhelmingly hot. I mean, excruciatingly hot in some places.
This is a low. It is a low. And I think, we're going to be talking about adjusting some things, maybe going forward with the itinerary. We were in Japan, not just at a hot time of year, but at extremes for even the local folks there. They were having difficulty with it. We were at somewhere in Japan, and after 10 minutes, I was about to pass out and had to go into air conditioning and stuff, and I'm in decent shape. So it was rough. And in addition, even if you're not passing out, it's less fun when you're just sweating to death, or, you're so hot that you have to carry an umbrella just to kind of deal with the UV. So that was tough. I'm not going to lie to that one.
A lot of people have complained when the itinerary changes, right?
Yeah.
But personally, Michael and I have been advocating for changing the itinerary in some cases.
Yes.
Please, because in some places it's just too hot to travel at that time of year. So a little tweak here and there to where we're constantly chasing comfort.
Spring and fall, comfort
would be amazing.
And I believe there is a significant number of residents that agree.
I hope so.
They're looking at that. But the heat was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was too much.
Okay. Next is something interesting. Hopefully you guys will get this, because you don't realize it until you're in the situation. But a low for us, and probably for other people with maybe similar personalities, has been the constant stimulus. So you're living on a cruise ship with several hundred other people, and there's constantly things happening around you. There's constantly people talking and laughing and jumping and running and waving, and there's parties happening, and sometimes that could be just a lot of stimulus.
Yeah, for us, because as we've talked about before, we're quiet, we're private, and we're pretty introverted. We really like our time. And so thankfully that's part of what got the bigger cabin to really be better for us. But it's a lot. And because we eat meals out of the room and we go everywhere on the ship, especially when the ship is fuller, not like port days, but like on sea days and stuff, there's just a lot of activity. And I'm glad that folks are having such a great time. So this is not about that.
No.
But it's a lot. So, sometimes, you've got your noise canceling headset on and you're still hearing, all of this. that's difficult. Thankfully, we can come to the balcony or to the room and relax.
The balcony is wonderful. And there's also a lot of spots on the ship
There you
that
can
are
go.
very quiet that you
Yeah,
can go.
yeah.
Yeah. So
But
that's good.
that's a low for us. And we're
Yeah.
figuring it out.
Yeah. You just have to learn to prioritize yourself and your quiet time, depending upon your personality. You have to gauge how much you need.
And
for
own
you.
it.
And own it.
Not
yeah.
apologize for
Yeah.
it.
No, don't apologize for
No,
it.
never.
All right. And then the last low has been adjusting our renovation plans. So, early on, we just wanted to just change everything
We had
and
big
buy all
plans.
kinds of big plans, buy all kinds of new things.
Oh, Lord.
But it's proven that it's very challenging to source different materials and things that we love at all of the different ports we go to. But when you find it, you got to grab it, but it's
Yeah.
hard to find.
Yeah. So we've done many renovations, like big renovations of our homes. And, we'd had experience of that. But this is a whole different deal. So we've made that adjustment. I think we're kind of having fun with it now because you just have to realize you're not going to spec everything, have it delivered and installed. And if you make a decision wrong, that they'll just change it. Like how many times did I paint the wall of our last house, right? Because we picked the wrong paint color. We ain't doing that here. And of course, all the regulations and stuff. So now we've shifted and we've kind of decided we have a home. We've got a home. This place is our second home and we wanted to get it great, but we don't have to have it just like to the spec and the level of our main home. And I think it's okay.
Yeah, but you will see
it's coming.
It's coming, and it's going to look different from some of the earlier videos that you've seen.
It is.
So, but we mostly do it, not by changing the walls out or anything, but by finding these really special little objects and special things throughout our travels.
And art. So I'll just leave it there. Yep.
All right. So that's it. Those are our biggest lows from the year. A few challenges, but overall, not too bad.
For a low list, that's a good list. I would say we're pretty lucky.
And then there are the moments that aren't just highs, they are truly unforgettable. Here are our core moments and memories from the last year. First up, our springboarding trip to the Atacama Desert.
Oh.
That one was very unique. We've done a lot of springboard trips, but that was really our first one, I think.
Big one.
And it was so incredible.
It was so incredible. So we had heard of the Atacama Desert. We never thought realistically that we'd get there. And we turn around and we've got the opportunity to go. So, it did involve flights and it involved long bus rides and all this stuff.
But not a long flight because
No, it was
the
domestic.
genius of the ship is that we're already in the area. We're near the country. We're near a port. We can quickly get us inter-country flight.
Yes.
And go
Which
there.
are cheaper and
Much
so much
cheaper.
easier to get and so much more frequent. We loved it. And then, we get there and it was just an otherworldly kind of experience. The only one that we've done similar is Jordan, in Wadi Rum.
Yeah.
But we loved it and we had so many great experiences. We stayed in great places. We loved the people that we met there, the guides, the other tourists and visitors that were there. We met some so interesting people, loved it. And it really, really, now this one drove home. This is something we would not have done otherwise. And it was awesome.
Yeah. You heard it from us. If you've never had this on your bucket list before, you may want to put it there now.
Atacama Desert.
Yeah. Okay, next up, spending so much time in Alaska. Now, everybody wants to go to Alaska. It's on the bucket list, and there's usually a cruiser show that you could take. But with the Villa Vie Odyssey, we were able to spend like an entire month there and go from one port to the next and really feel like, hey, we know Alaska now.
It was really cool. And we had some great cruising as well. So it was amazing. Yeah, we had been trying to get to Alaska forever. It never happened. We're so thankful now that it didn't because we actually saw the ship that we were going to be on. And it was going to be like 12 days. And we were going to get all these same things done in record time and not without some of the smaller ports. And Alaska just came to life for us. We loved it. We loved everything about it. And I'm so thankful we did it this way.
Yeah, I had such preconceived ideas about Alaska and what it would be like. Like it would be freezing and cold and miserable. It was the most beautiful weather. And
it was awesome.
There was just so much we learned and experienced there.
And the people were so great.
Yes.
Oh my God, we had some great experience.
Do you remember our friend in Juneau?
Yes.
Oh, we just met such cool people.
It was awesome. We loved it.
All right, next up, Now, you haven't seen this yet. This is coming up in like one of the next couple of videos. Our extended time in Tokyo. Again, the ship brought us close. The ship was docked for so long, we were able to spend some time there.
And we loved it. And we're going back. Tokyo just was our vibe. And I really credit you for where we stayed and all this stuff. So you'll see all that soon. But we had an amazing time there. It was warm, as we said, but we had such a great time. And we even met some friends there and did other things. So we could spend much, much, much more time in Tokyo. So I can't wait for you to see that video. And we'll be going back. But yes, Tokyo is a winner.
Yeah, you have to see our adventures in Tokyo. As I said, it's upcoming. We're putting the finishing touches on it now. In the meantime, we're going to give you a little taste of it because we're going to share now our time in Yokohama, which is the gateway to Tokyo. Take a look. The ship is docked in Yokohama, Japan, a city just south of Tokyo itself. We're going to explore around here before heading into Tokyo.
Yeah, we've heard that Chinatown is really cool, so we're going to go check it out. And there's supposed to be some really nice shopping, so we're going to give that a look and see if we can find anything for the room. So we're so thrilled to be in Japan. From here, we'll head into Tokyo for a while, and we're looking forward to the day.
Let's go.
Bye. We're in the Yokohama Red Brick Warehouse, and it's really interesting. It's a historic building, and it's got a lot of great shops. Just be aware if you come here that the food court is on the bottom level, but many, many more shops are upstairs. Give it a shot. Really interesting. A lot of leather, a lot of handicrafts, and of course souvenirs and a lot of food.
We're walking through Yokohama Chinatown right now, and it's so interesting to see. It's very busy, it's very crowded, especially so since we all have umbrellas because it's raining today and we're having to navigate through these tight streets. There's lots of little restaurants along the way, little souvenir shops, but we're actually on our way to kind of a hidden gem. There's this really nice, like luxury shop streets that's more Western style, so we're gonna give that a shot. But it's fun to walk through Chinatown.
One of the things I love about Japan is that ordering food in the restaurants are pretty easy, because one of the things they love to do is make little models of the food so that you can see exactly what's going to appeal to you. So very seldom will you make the wrong choice because you know what you're going to get.
While Chinatown was very exciting and a feast for the eyes, we're actually headed to Motomachi, which has more upscale shopping. So let's go see if we can find it. It turns out we were right on target with coming to Motomachi. There's some great shops here.
Yeah, and don't just stay on the main street. If you get off some of these kind of main streets into the side streets and alleys, there's great shops too.
And the last unforgettable moment that we'll mention, it's the one that trumps it all. It is maximizing our retirement time. So in this time, we retired early. We really wanted to do something special. Otherwise, why retire early? Go back to your work life. We really wanted it to be special. And by doing this trip, spending this time together and seeing the world as we have in this last year, we really felt like we really maximized our time.
We really do. And this is something, obviously, we think a lot about. And I am pretty happy with what we're doing. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, because
So
life is
thankful.
too short.
Life's so short. And so you never know, right? And as we reflect on this last year and we think about our goals and the thing that we wanted to do, I do feel like for the most part, almost 90 something percent, we are maxing out our time. And of course, the older we get, the more aware we get of that. We think about time and health and those kind of things. So we're really pleased, and we're doing it together. And after 22 years, to be able to have this kind of fun and companionship and love and be able to do our number one thing, which was travel, for the whole time we've been together, is the ultimate blessing from above.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for that.
Me too. And we wish you could see our list of things that we're going to be doing coming up. I mean, you think we've done some stuff already. Wait till you see what's coming up. There's even more ways to maximize our time together in our retirement years. So look for that. All right, those are our unforgettable moments. We hope you enjoyed them. Next up is a few honorable mentions. Okay, let's finish up with a few honorable mentions that couldn't quite be put in our list of highs and lows and unforgettables, but we had to mention them after all. So here are a few rapid fire honorable mentions. First up, Peloton's arriving.
Pelotons are awesome. We have one at home, and we're so glad to have it here. It really completes our kind of gym, and it's fun, and we enjoy it. We kept our accounts, and it's so nice to have it.
Yeah, right here on the ship.
Right
Amazing.
here on the ship, right down the hall.
Next up, balcony views, another high.
Balcony views from this big balcony we've got have been one of the highs. I mean, we can just sit out there and see the world and some special, special things. And we don't take that for granted. It's gorgeous. Even just a normal sunset over the water is amazing.
And to spot all of the marine life, like
oh my gosh,
the dolphins and the whales
and all this stuff.
Crazy.
And you're sitting in your own kind of personal space. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Next up, and this is a low, saying goodbye to staff.
That's tough. Yeah, we spend a lot of time with the staff, and unlike a typical cruise ship, we stay and the staff comes and goes because obviously they want to go back to their families and do their thing. So it's really, really hard to say goodbye, and we miss them terribly when they're gone.
Yeah, but the other side of that coin, which is the high, is returning staff.
Yeah. When they come back, it's so cool. One just came back the other day, and I hugged, this person and just was so happy to see them. So it was really fun after them being gone to see them come back and know that they're going to be with us for a while.
Mm-hmm. Another high is the Global Harmony program.
Yeah, this is a program that really tries to do good, and I really am pleased. It's environmental awareness and doing good around the world, and it's nice to see.
Right here on the ship, created by the staff and residents.
Yeah, this is not, a national program or world. This is something that's done here. They do really good work, and it's inspiring, and it makes me proud.
Yeah, they did some amazing relief work in Philippines, and they did some other work. What was that?
Hiroshima.
The cranes in Japan. Amazing.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Another low on this list is the Brazilian wine.
Oh my God, y'all.
Sorry, Brazil.
If I ever have to go sober, it's going to be the only Brazilian wine is available. There was some rule, and I'm sorry we're picking on you, Brazil, but there was some rule that Brazil had. We had to buy the house wine from local, and it tasted like Kool-Aid with 10 cups of extra sugar. It was so sweet and so bad. But there was a rule. We had to have it. But the staff actually acknowledged it, and they made sangria out of it. I think they probably diluted it a little bit. It was terrible.
But the sangria was good.
The sangria, I guess I didn't try it. I didn't want to be part of it, but it was terrible. But they got rid of it soon enough, and we got back.
And now we're back to some really good wine.
Yeah,
so
we're happy. That is a low.
All right. And another high is the onboard spa.
It's nice to be able to walk down 4 levels and get a haircut by somebody that you love. Hey, Stacy. And or get a massage or whatever you need. And it's at reasonable prices. You don't have to book, book and go and all this stuff. So it's amazing. We love it.
So that's it. That's been our list of incredible, challenging, fantastic, and otherwise experiences we've had over the course of this year.
So what do you think? What would be your high from what you've seen and what you've heard about life on the Odyssey? Let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for coming along. We appreciate you being here. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.